Specifically, the Federal Executive Council approved $1.5 billion for the turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt refinery. Yet, this investment has not yielded significant returns. For us in the Senate, and of course now in the National Assembly, we believe it is unfair and unpatriotic to treat government business as an orphan.
We must seize this opportunity to maximize the whole oil and gas sector value chain. And that's why we are here to discuss what it will take to get us really moving and maximizing.
We're also committed to supporting Dangote refinery. We are committed to supporting the modular refineries. And we have been resolving whatever issues that are brought to our attention, from time to time. I believe that it is important that the Senate, ensure that we do a live broadcast.
NNPC has nothing to do with imports of products that are substandard. For me and my colleagues in the NNPC, even by conviction of faith, Mr. Chairman, we will do nothing. We believe there is eternal accountability, Mr. Chairman. Even if you don't unravel what is happening, we know that God knows, and that God will hold us accountable. And we're after no one. We are persecuting nobody. We are not criminals. We are not thieves. We are serving our country, and we believe very, very strongly that we're faithful, loyal to this country. The oil and gas industry is bleeding, Mr. Chairman. We can't speak. There are things we know we don't say, and that's why I agree with the Honorable Minister that even the things we won't say, we'll say them when the right time comes.
Let me start by giving you an update, a progress update on the Dangote refinery. Mr. Chairman, I would like to let you know that since the refinery started we had trial production in January, and then full-time production started in March. Since then, we've processed about 50 million barrels of crude. We've produced about 5 million tons of petroleum products. And these petroleum products have been sold in various parts of the country. Our jet has been sold in Europe since May. We've been sending jet to Europe. Other products have been sent to places as far as Asia, US, Brazil, and so on. So the refinery has been making a lot of progress. We just basically have 3 questions that we think we should look at by the committee and also as Nigerians. The first question is, do local refineries deserve protection from dumping? That's the first question. Second question is, should Nigeria protect its infant industries in order to encourage investment? And then the third question is, should local refineries have preferential access to Nigerian crude? Those really are our questions that we want this committee to consider. On the first one, as I've said, we've produced 5 million tons of products, but of those 5 million tons, about 90% of it had to be exported. While at the same time, products we were producing are being reimported into Nigeria. We find ourselves competing against Russian products that are being produced with oil that is valued at $60. We all know that because of the cap that has been put on Russian oil, the value of Russian oil today in the market is $60. And that's what Russia is using to produce their products, and those products are being sent in large quantities into Africa to compete with products that are produced in refineries that buy crude at $90. We don't think this will be a fair competitive environment. And I think even under the rules of WTO, when you have such unfair competition, it is normal to put protective measures. US, for example, has done that to protect their own industries against attack by China that subsidizes their own industries and then sends them to US. So that's the first question. We want the committee to consider, do we deserve protection against dumping? The second, as a nascent industry, refineries, I think we can all agree, even though NNPC has run refineries, but for the private sector, it's new. And generally, when you start a new refinery, it takes at least 2 years to stabilize. You go through a process of stabilization, you'll be struggling with the refinery, ramp up your capacity, bring new units and so on, get your processes, your financing and all that. it takes at least 2 years. If within this period, you don't allow this baby, you don't give it some protection. I think even in the animal world, you know, when a new baby is born, they don't just throw it, leave it out in the wilderness, right? There's some protection that is provided in order for it to grow and be able to compete. So during this period, the question we're asking is, do we, and it's not just refinery, but Nigeria as a country, should we look at protecting our nascent industries in order for them to thrive? That's the second question. Essentially, we want to be able to sell more of our products. Okay. We want to be able to sell more of our products in Nigeria because we believe we can do that, we can compete. And even though there are concerns that have been expressed around monopoly, that is a problem that has been identified. The right thing to do is to say, how do we address this problem? If monopoly is a risk, how do we address this risk while at the same time ensuring that we protect our domestic industries? And the good thing is that in the PIA, there are provisions around that. NMDPRA can monitor and take action if they feel there's monopoly. And it's very clear the actions that are to be taken. The last question is around crude. Right now, as I said, we've bought about 50 million barrels of crude. About 60% of that comes from NNPC, and we're thankful to them for their support, and we hope we'll continue to get this support. About 20% of that had to be imported from outside, and then 20% we purchased. Essentially, all we are asking for crude, and let's be very clear, we are happy to pay fair prices. We don't complain about, we don't go and haggle with NNPC. We are very happy with the price that they set price like supermarket, and that's the way we buy it, right? But what we buy from others is what we think the regulator should look at, and the good thing is the regulator has published a guideline that will address some of this. And we hope that we'll work with the regulator and we'll get their support so that 100% of Nigerian crude, the refinery can get 100% of its crude from Nigeria and buy the crude from companies that produce it in Nigeria, not from international middlemen. Whatever the price is, as long as it is in Nigeria, and that's the price also that the producer will pay their tax on, we'll be happy to pay that. So that's our third question. And we count on support of the committee, the regulators, and other stakeholders to ensure that the refinery succeeds, because if it does, aside from the other obvious benefits, like FX generation, job creation, and the rest, most importantly, there is this psychological benefit of giving Nigerians and Africans in general the confidence that we can succeed. We can build big things and make them successful. And that in itself is invaluable. Thank you very much.
I will keep the existing protocol. My name is Abdulkabir Adisa Aliu. I'm the CEO of Matrix Energy Limited and a member of DAPMAN. It's a great pleasure and honor that DAPMAN and myself are being invited for this investigation going on. We're also happy that we all agree this should come live so that Nigeria can have sufficient and adequate information. But I will go straight to the point. We, DAPMAN and Matrix Energy, we are all Nigerians, we are investors, and we are passionate about this country. Myself, all my educations are in Nigeria, and we have invested heavily in this country. Matrix Energy today has over 2,700 staff. We do this because we believe in this country. But when people go to the media to attack people, I think it goes beyond money, beyond business. It is something that has a lot of psychological effect. We are being accused, both DAPMAN and Matrix Energy, for bringing product from Russia or from other countries. But it's strange to me, as I'm not aware that Nigeria has banned or stopped importation of product for some countries. The most important thing to us is, and the most important thing to every responsible government, is to make goods and product available to the people at affordable price. Monopoly kills business. And when people invest without doing the needful, that is why you see them, they accuse everybody. I will go straight, I will make reference to one or 2 points. You see, Nigerians today are crying that the price of foodstuff is high. Somebody published the result of his company yesterday, making over 133 billion in 6 months. The profit is coming from where? Sugar. Nigerians are paying more because Nigerians are not allowed to import sugar. We buy from the monopolistic people.
Dr. we are not.
Yes, sir.
Again, I said this is not the public. This is not a public hearing.
It's okay.
You saw the
most important thing, sir, is that we are in support of what the Senate is doing, and at appropriate time, we will speak our mind. We are Nigerians, we are businessmen, we have done what is required to stabilize energy supply in the country, and we will continue to support the government in ensuring that product is adequately available at affordable price.
I am here before you today as the President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, comprising of over 30,000 conglomerates, over 50,000 retail outlets, which account for 85% of petroleum stations across the country, and over 100,000 fleets of trucks conveying petroleum products in the country. So we are here to support and to say the truth in this ad hoc committee. It is important to note that IPMAN is one of the most critical organizations in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. This is due to the fact that we are responsible for larger distribution of petroleum products across nooks and crannies of this country, despite all challenges. IPMAN is willing to collaborate with other stakeholders and government institutions, such as NNPCL, NDPPRA, to augment NNPC retail and other value chain in the downstream sector. It is pertinent to note that the value chain in the downstream should be sustained to allow other investors to continue to play their role effectively. This will go a long way in protecting those who have invested in the oil and gas sector. IPMAN, as a body, sir, would like to use this medium to solicit the support of the Senate to ensure that there is a level playing ground in this sector of the economy, by ensuring that the refineries, storage facilities owners, and IPMAN that have the retail outlet should not be distorted by allowing monopoly to set in. Before I go ahead, I would like to make it clear that IPMAN appreciates our long-standing relationship with the NNPCL. Let me also acknowledge that the NNPCL is currently doing her best to allocate IPMAN products to IPMAN through NIPCO PLC, but the products are grossly inadequate, considering the strength of IPMAN vis-a-vis. Our investment in the downstream, IPMAN's allocation needs to be improved to meet up the numbers of retail outlets, which is well separate across the country. We should appreciate tremendous increase in the allocation of product. IPMAN, under my leadership, is reassuring the Senate, the NNPCL, the NMDPPRA, and the entire Nigerians that IPMAN will continue to ensure that all product allocated to her will be discharged in all her retail outlets for enhanced service delivery to consumers, which the government is approved price. Before I go further, though, I would like to put it on record, now that at IPMAN, we have no doubt as to the capacity of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to drive Nigeria's oil and gas sector to greater height as never before seen in the history of Nigeria. Yet, there are certain indices from an IPMAN point of view that have allowed down some of these remarkable Due to the time, I will summarize. Yes, due to the time, I will summarize and wait for the public hearing, whereby I will emphasize, and we are going to say the facts, and we are going to say what will assist this ad hoc committee, because we doesn't have any country apart from Nigeria. Nigeria is our country, and we have to work for our country.
I'm here to speak on some of the few issues we have had as refiners, and it's not so different from what Aliyu from Dangote Refinery has said. I mean, we started, I think Dangote is the only company that started before us. Our company name is OPAC, and they started, I think, about 2013, and we started about 2017. And about 2021, we actually started to do our reliability test. And it was a challenge for us to even get crude for our reliability test. We have gone to almost all the institutions, both government and private. Till this moment, as I speak, our refinery is a 10,000 barrel refinery, which was completed 2021 and started operation 2022. We are operating at about 3% capacity, a refinery of 10,000 barrels. That means we are not even getting up to 1,000 barrels per day. What that means is that we are not just the only one that are challenged in this way. There are other modular refineries that are also challenged in this way. We have made several cases in several media to say that why are we in the refinery business? We are all in the refinery business for one purpose. First and foremost, to help the country to save the effects that is being used for the importation of product into the country, because once you refine product locally, what that means is that there is no need to source for FS for importation of any product. And so what that does is that the effects that everybody is looking for, the pressure that is on FX today, it will drastically reduce. I have made instances. For example, we own a 10,000 barrel refinery. 10,000 barrel in 30 days will give you 30,000 barrels. And in a year, that's going to give you about 300,000 barrels, meaning 360,000 barrels. And if the average price of crude is $100, my refinery alone is going to require about $3.6 million to purchase crude. If you have, today, modular refineries, you have about 27,000 capacity of modular refinery. If you multiply...
Sir, please remember you have 2 minutes. You can round up with that point.
I'll be rounding up. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that you cannot overemphasize what the Dangote guy has said, protecting local industry. We produce product into the local market. Our income is in Naira. We want to purchase product in Naira. We want adequate supply. For example, our refinery is currently rusting away because we do not have enough crude to refine in the last 2 to 3 years of kickstarting the refinery. I'm sure Edo refinery has the same challenge, and some other refineries have the same challenge.
Abraham Okpani, representing the Chief of Staff to Mele Kyari, representing Petroleum. Mr. Chairman, sir, my amiable president said I should thank the House, to thank the Senate and the chairman and all the committee members. The issue on ground, he said he will be available when the time comes for Petroleum to speak concerning this matter. I'm only here to appreciate the Senate and the Ad-hoc Committee. Thank you and God bless.
All other protocols duly observed. I'm here to present the compliments of the Chief of Naval Staff and the entire officers and men of the Nigerian Navy to this distinguished committee. The position of the Navy is that all hands need to be on deck to address the challenges bedeviling the oil and gas sector of our great country. And accordingly, this interactive session is well-timed and well-needed to to work towards developing workable solutions towards impacting the industry. The Nigerian Navy coordinates and assists in the enforcement of bunkering laws in compliance with Section 217 of the Constitution and Section 4 of the Armed Forces Act. And in execution of this mandate, the Navy works with the industry regulators seated in front here, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NMDPRA, and NNPCL. And the Navy is very, very well integrated. To this end, just on the 30th of July 2024, the Chief of Naval Staff hosted a stakeholders meeting at the Naval Headquarters, and all of them were represented. And I'm proud to say that our deep, very deep collaboration aligns with Mr. President's mandate towards producing 2 million barrels per day. In fact, I'm proud to say that the NUPRC, and we are grateful to the Commission Chief Executive, we are grateful to the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, has mandated a workshop for the 14th and 15th of August for fiscalization training of naval operatives who will join the transparency process of the hydrocarbon sector. Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, on this note, I want to applaud the work of this committee and to reiterate the commitment of the Nigerian Navy towards enhancing the petroleum industry in Nigeria.
The Nigerian Customs Service is saddled with 4 main functions, which is revenue collection, anti-smuggling activities, trade facilitation of both export, import, and transit trade, and also implementation of government policies. On maritime patrol, the service is only allowed to patrol 24 nautical miles radius from the shore. We undertake both fiscalization and defiscalization with NUPRC, and also we look into the permits granted by NMDPRA for the exports of petroleum products. The gaps we identified in this is that we all do office-specific automation. We need to see ourselves. Whatever NUPRC is doing, NMPDA is doing, customs also need to see. So there should be an automated process whereby we have an application program interface. So that, because we do fiscalization and defiscalization with you, but we only do that of quantity. Quality depends on the regulator. So if we can see ourselves via automation, this would also take care of smuggling of some of these products. So automation is key. Then the service is about procuring 2 sea-going vessels. Then we have some of our boats. We are also trying to take approval from UNCSA so that we can mount the boats for patrols. We are in collaboration with Nigerian Navy at all times. Places where we cannot go to, the Navy is always there to take us there. But sometimes, because of logistic problems, we are always dependent on the IOCs and the stakeholders. So if they don't provide this equipment, we may not be able to do our job with Navy and even NUPRC and the downstream regulators. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to look into the gaps and find a way to ameliorate this problem.
Our determination actually was to ensure that this meeting did not go beyond 2 hours. Recall again that I said, on our part, we are not going to be asking questions. We are not going to be responding to the issues raised, because there will be time for that. And for the other stakeholders that we couldn't invite to the microphone, please also know that our secretariat has the full details of all of you who are here. This is just for us to get to meet ourselves. You would have observed that when this Ad-hoc Committee was inaugurated, we did not invite the stakeholders because we saw it as a Senate affair. And people ask us, why will you not invite the stakeholders? We say, no, if we want to do something different, then we have to start from day one. So this is the very first outing that we're doing, and it is to meet with you, to give you our assurances and also hear from you. So let no stakeholder feel undermined that we didn't recognize you. We recognize and invited, the Honorable Minister for Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil. We invited the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, CBN, SON, NIMASA, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Navy, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Oil Producers Trade Section, Independent Petroleum Producers Group, Dangote Refinery and Petrochemical, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Obert Oil Matrix Energy, all modular refineries, Omaliko Catherine Mariana, CEO of Project Management Development Network Services, Intertech Testing Services, Coalition of Civil Society Groups for Peace, Security, Good Governance, Equity, and Justice, Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, and some other stakeholders. We even have more who are present here out of their own concern and interest, because these are matters of public interest and concern. And the Secretariat has taken note of your presence, and I read out the name just to let you know we know you are here. It's just that the essence of today's meeting was not to call on everybody or bring everybody to the microphone, but we believe we have been fairly representative enough in the cross-section of the people that we invited to speak. Please, we are going to have time to put your memoranda together and to also be a part of this public hearing. And in doing this, please, take a cue from what we said. This is not the time to grandstand, on our part and on your part. This, and like I said, also, what we should all work towards is how best we can, just have a common ground and move forward. That is what this is all about. At this point, I guess what is left for me is to bring each and every one of my colleagues here to the microphone in a minute or two each. And what I will ask them to do, even though the MC had introduced all our colleagues who are here, it would just be to quickly okay. Okay, so I thank you. They believe the issues have been well canvassed, and whatever I said was representative enough. I appreciate that. So I would then, at this point, please call on all of you to ensure that we get the memoranda as requested, and also make out time in your diary for the 3-day hearing we're going to be having. The reason we chose 3 days is so that nobody is rushed through. Nobody is given 2 minutes or 3 minutes to speak. They are very serious issues. And no one is meant to be on trial, but we all must work together to forge the way forward. So finally, let me at this point then bring to the microphone for the vote of thanks a member of the committee and our former leader in the Senate, most distinguished Dr. Abdullahi Yahya, to do the vote of thanks. Thank you.
On behalf of members of this ad hoc committee, I would like to first of all start by appreciating the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Boswell Obot Akpabio, for finding us worthy to serve in this important ad hoc committee. I will also take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Finance, Minister of State, Petroleum, Oil, the various heads of the regulatory agencies in the oil industry, the NNPC, MD, the independent marketers, custom, Navy, the modular refiners, and all other stakeholders who find it worthy to attend this preliminary hearing. And the preliminary hearing is for us to know each other so that in the conduct of further engagements by this committee, we will appreciate each other and keep at the back of our minds what necessitated the establishment of this committee, which is to find an amicable resolution of the major crisis in the Nigerian oil industry. I am quite pleased to note the personal appearance of the Minister of Finance, the NNPC MD, and the Minister of Oil. This underscores the fact that oil is the centerpiece of the economy of this nation. The Senate took a decision to establish this committee in order to make sure that the major challenges that hamper our ability to raise the necessary foreign exchange to run the economy is resolved at the end of the work of this committee. I wish to assure all members that we will work, just like the chairman said, in the interest of this nation, and also work diligently and transparently to make sure that the Nigerian industry booms from success to success. I want to appreciate all other stakeholders, including the media, for giving us an opportunity to come and work with us. We have already pledged that the work of this committee is going to be open for all Nigerians, and we assure the majority of Nigerians that this committee is going to work in the interest of the nation in order to find resolution to the current challenges facing the petroleum industry. Thank you and God bless.